Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. So this job that we've got to do this week, well, there's a bit of all sorts involved, and it's taken a bit of organising to get everything sorted because I need to outsource a couple of things. So we have this crankshaft to repair. So this is out of a baler, and these claws here sort of go onto the journal like that, and I think that feeds the straw. I'm not quite sure how balers work. I've never really had much to do with a baler before, but them claws go on there, and I think them claws like feed the straw up into the chamber before it gets compressed into a bale. So yeah, that goes on there like that, and then this bit goes on top and clamps it on, and then I'm guessing there's some kind of linkage that goes on there, so like the claws are always facing in the same direction as they go around like that. But then you can see with this one, it's now in two halves. There's a common problem apparently with these. Well, I have two actually. There's this one to do, and then there's another one outside that's snapped in exactly the same place. So yeah, they just snap on the journal there. And apparently you can't buy these crankshafts anymore. So you either get your crankshaft repaired or you scrap your baler. Obviously I'm not going to weld that back together. If I was in Pakistan or India or somewhere, you maybe would do. Them boys maybe would, but I'm going to make a new journal for it. So the whole lot is a fabricated piece. These welded in. That's like channel. Well, it's not channel actually. Well, that's been pressed, and then it has a flat welded on there, and then these journals are welded in. And then the end, like the stub shafts, everything's welded together. So I'm going to make the basic journal myself. The customer has managed to find like the specifications from the manufacturer, the proper drawing of the journal, so I'm going to make the basic journal myself. I'm going to make two of them for the other one, and then I'm going to send it out to get surface ground, because that's like a ground finish, and then they also need to be hardened and tempered. So on this technical drawing I've got, it states everything, like your hardness and your material it's made of. But then to weld it back together, I'll have to make some kind of jig to hold everything together. So I'll have to make a frame of some kind, then I'll either mill it through, bore it through, or line bore it through, so both that end and that end are both dead in line with each other. I'll worry about that later. So what I'm going to do now is make the journal. I'm not going to go into too much detail about what material I'm using, or the hardness, or the tempering, because it's not information that's readily available, so sort of keep that a bit of a secret. Just had a delivery of round bar today. There's two bits of 75mm. One is a different grade to the other, so I think it's that top one that I need. So we'll get all them separated and get out the bit I need, and then we'll chop some lumps off. Right, so we've got a little bandsaw set up. It's only one of them little cheap little ones, but it should do the job. I have a big bandsaw as well, but it's too big to bring around just to cut 2 bits of bar off. So I could do with one a bit bigger than this, but then again I haven't got anywhere to put it, so. So I got one cut off. That took quite a while, but now that I've got one cut off, while this one's sawing through, I can be setting that one up in the lathe. So since I moved this lathe, I haven't set it up properly. So yeah, I haven't leveled it or set it up properly or anything, so it's not 100% accurate at the moment, which shouldn't really matter for this job anyway, because it's getting ground to final size. So as long as I can get it roughly somewhere near, I'll be near enough. So when you look on these, on the good journals, there's like a radius in there, and then a smaller radius on that corner. Now I would have said that radius was too small, that's why it snapped. I've ground some tools to use to get that radius, but I'm going to make that a bigger radius. So that one will do that, and then I've ground that one as well, which will do that radius in there. It has to have them because I think it must seal up how that fits onto there. And that fits into there, if you can see. And then there's a grease pipe on the top. It must fill that with grease, and I think that's to like seal the grease in. And there's space in there for a bigger radius, so I don't see why I can't put a bigger radius. So yeah, I'll machine them in now, and then we'll do the middle bit. Right, so that's them two outer sort of radius is done. So what I need to do now is turn this middle bit down. So I need to swap that over to that one on my fatter radius. Right, so we're getting there with this. It's nearly down to size now. I'm just going to let it cool down a bit before I finish it off because it's quite hot. I'm just struggling. Well, I can't get any further that way because of touching there. We're touching there. So I think there's a little bit more to take out them radiuses. And then there's like a mil, well, yeah, 1.4 mil to take off the rest of it. I know I keep saying it, but I am not a machinist. So if you're watching this thinking, why is he doing it like that? It's just because I'm sort of problem solving as I'm going along and just using the tools that I've got. Like I say, I can't buy a button insert to match the right radius that I need. That would have made it a lot easier. So that's why I've had to grind them other ones. Yeah, we're getting there anyway. We're getting there. Right, so we're all machined down to size with that now. Now it's not perfect, but it should be good enough. Well, it is good enough for this job. There's 70 mil on the drawing. It says 70 mil with a H11 tolerance. So when I look in my Black Book of Engineering of what H11 tolerance is, I'm within tolerance on that one, within tolerance on that. And then like I say, this bit's getting ground down anyway. That's a H8 tolerance on that. So yeah, it should be good. And then put a bit of a chamfer on all them edges. And then like I say, there's a bigger radius in there than what it had originally, so that should be stronger. So yeah, we should be good with that. So I need to get rid of this bit on the end now. I think I'll turn it round and then see if I can use my parting tool. I enjoy using this parting tool about as much as I enjoy painting things, which is not very much. So yeah, well, I measured it with a DRO, so if I part it off where that lip is there, we should be bang on measurement, which it shouldn't matter anyway within a couple of mil because it sticks out. You know, there's plenty there for it to get well round. So yeah, I don't think any measurement's really that critical apart from that bit in the middle, which even then I don't think it's that critical because it's not like an engine that needs oil pressure. It just has them bushes in and then grease that fills in. So I maybe could have got away without getting it ground, but I just want to try and follow the drawing within reason. See, there's plenty of space in there for that radius. That fits around there like it's supposed to do. Right, so that's that one done. So I'll do the other one now. Right, so that's both of them machined up. Yeah, I've left them 0.5 mil oversized in the middle, so after they've hardened and tempered, there's 1/2 mil to grind back down to get the final size. Yeah, I'll get them wrapped up, and then I've got this decently thick cardboard box. Put them in that, and then get them sent off to get hardened and tempered. So FedEx have just been to collect the shafts, so hopefully it won't be too long before I get them back. So what I need to do now is make a jig to hold this in line, so when I weld the new journal in, I know that it's going to be absolutely dead straight and bang in line. So what I'm thinking of doing is making like a U shape out of box section, and then make some clamps to clamp onto that journal and that journal at either end. Then I'll either have to line bore it through to make sure they're both going to be in line with each other, or I'll do it on the mill, turn the mill on its side and mill them through. But we'll get the box section frame made first and cut out some bits of plate to make the clamps out of, and then decide where to go from there. So I've got that tacked together, it's nice and simple, just 2 bits of box tacked on. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to flame cut some squares out of this 40mm plate, and then one will be like the bottom half of the clamp, and the other bit will be like the top half. So like I've drawn that as like a visual representation of what I'm going to do. So yeah, this bottom bit will be welded onto the top of that box section, and then this top bit will be removable. There'll be 4 bolts that bolt through it, and then yeah, end of the crank will go through there, clamp it down, and then there'll be one on one end of the box, and one on the other. So I'll swap over onto the gas torch, and then we'll cut 4 bits of at 90 by 120. To set up for that, I'm just not quite sure they're going to have enough oxygen because we're about out. Right, so that's all them cut out. I joined them all together, so I didn't have to pierce through the plate every time. So it just went all the way around and then up and down. It's nice and hot as that now. Should have brought some burgers out. Had them cooking on top of there. So yeah, I'll just have to wait for them to cool down and then nick through them. So that's all I'm cleaned up. Cleaned up nice of them. So you'd need a very expensive plasma cutter to cut 40mm as neat as that. So yeah, the reason why I've done 6 is because I'm not sure what I'm going to use. Whether I'm going to use the same setup for this one that comes out sideways for the new journal to clamp into. So I thought if I did 6, then I've got them. So yeah, I need to drill them out. I need 4 bolt holes drilling in them now. So I think I'll put them on the milling machine and use the DRO, the grid function on the DRO to get them all the same. So I've got the other two drilled out at 12mm. Now I've drilled these out, this one out at 10.2, ready to tap a 12mm hole. Now I've got Tony that I made the train bonnet for, gave me this tapping head. The only thing is it's missing the bar that comes out the back to stop it spinning round. I can't use it in my drill press because it goes round too fast. Now I could use it in this, but like I say, it's missing the bar, and I need quite a long bar to reach from here all the way to the back of there. So I think what I'll do is I'll just put the tap in the chuck. So just on the last one now, the last plate. I wasn't videoing this because I thought the other ones, it was going nice and smoothly. Anyway, that first hole that I did, I ended up snapping the tap off. So I think I had a parallel sat underneath like that on that side, and I think the tap maybe caught on the parallel and jammed it up, and that's why it snapped maybe. So the rest of them I've just sort of gone gently and just gone halfway in with the tap, and then at least I've got a thread started. I was going all the way through with the tap on the other one, but anyway, we've got them four done, so I'll have to see if hopefully I can get that tap out, because it is poking through the bottoms. So yeah, not to worry. Right, so this broken tap, I tried turning it. I've got the more grips on the end and tried to turn it, but obviously I think it's jammed up with chips, that's why it snapped. And it just broke the end off. So I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to see if I can pierce through it with a plasma cutter. There's only like sort of 20mm left inside, so it's below the surface there, and then when you look underneath, you can see it's quite a bit. It's like there, so I haven't got much to pierce through, so I'll have a go. Not end it weld if I have to cut another block out. Managed to get it out of that tap without damaging it. I'll show you. I blasted a little bit of the hole at the other side. Damaged the hole a little bit there, but that shouldn't matter. By the time I've countersunk it a little bit, so hopefully that should tap through again now. I don't think I've damaged the hole too much, like in the bar. Anyway, I'll put the tap through it and see what happens. Right, so I've got that threaded all the way through now. There is a little bit of damage at the bottom of the hole, but it doesn't really matter because we don't really need all that thread anyway. 40mm thick, so they don't really need to be tapped all the way through. But so they're sort of tapped halfway through. I'll maybe finish tapping them. Well, I'll leave that for now because I haven't decided what I'm going to do with that bit yet. But if I need it, it's there. So it's good stuff, is this actually. I prefer this in the tub than I do in the squeezy bottle. Right, so I've been and got some bolts, and I've got them bolted together now. So I need to drill through them. I think I'll drill and ream it to 40mm, so that'll fit tightly on my boring bar. And then put them on there and use a boring bar to line them up, and then weld them round. So that's that drilled through. I'll ream it through now at 40mm. I need to get some more coolant tomorrow. The coolant pump does work, but when I moved the mill, it all ran out. So that stuff's great, but I don't think you're really supposed to use it as coolant. So yeah, I'll get some more tomorrow and I can use that. That's that first one bored through to 40mm, so now that'll fit in there like that. So I have a 35mm boring bar that I'll line bore them through once I weld it on there, but if I can use the 40mm to line them up, then it'll save me a lot of work lining the bearings up. Right, so I've got some cutting fluid now, so I've got that mixed up and put in the mill so we can drill these other two through now. So I've got that one set up. I centered it, got it lined up with the centre, but before I drill it with that, I'm just going to flatten a bit off with an end mill because it's a bit of a ridge there and I don't want that to wander off sideways, so it may be alright, but I'll just put it in the chuck so it doesn't take much doing. I'll just flatten a bit off first. Right, so I've got all three of them bored through now, and I'm going to use that boring bar to line up both them two. So I'll weld around there first, weld that on, then I'll tack them on, and weld around them. I want all the welding and everything to be done on this before I even attempt to start line boring it, because I don't want the weld to pull it out of line. If I line bore it and then add more to it, welding onto it, it'll, especially on box section, it'll pull it. It could bow the box section or pull it out of line, so you want to get everything welded on first. So yeah, I'll weld them on, and then I need to work out where this one's going to go. Right, so I've got the crankshaft put in here now. Obviously it's not in properly because they're not bored out to fit yet, but I've just got some longer bolts in and just clamped either end down. I was wanting to put some extra bracing in, and I couldn't really picture how it went together and where I could put bracing without it in, so I've just got it put in there. So I could put some bracing in here. I couldn't really put anything in that end because of where this is, so I'm not sure whether I'm going to bother putting any in or not. Also, what I wanted to know was, what I need to know is where that block is going to go. So I have another technical drawing of this piece here, which tells me that there's 140mm between this centre and that centre, which also must mean there's 140mm from that centre mark up to that centre mark, so it has like 140mm swing. And then there's 3 journals, so they're in like thirds. So I've drawn that in one shape. So I've got me, that's a 280 circle. So I've got me 140 across there, which means that I've got 70mm offset from the centre of that to the centre of that. And then I've got 121.244 offset that way. So yeah, I know that that's 70mm from there, and then 1, 2, 1 from there to there. That's when these two are horizontal. So what I'm thinking is if I drill, or if I cut 2 bits of plate with 2 holes drilled in them, like that, at 140 centres, at 40mm hole, drilled and reamed to 40mm, same as what these are. So I can put my boring bar back through there, put the 2 bits of plate on, put the bar through the 2 bits of plate and through that, and then that'll get me 140 swing. And then I just need to make sure that it's going to be 70mm above this centre. So then when I put the whole lot on the milling machine, or however I bar out that, I can go off me 70mm and me 1, 2, 1 measurement from the centre there, if that makes sense. It doesn't really matter where that is, as long as it's in the 140, you know, the swing. It just makes it easier if I know exactly where it is. So then I can use the DRO to measure 70mm and 1, 2, 1, if that makes sense, hopefully. So I have these plates already. I made these for when I was doing them JCB headstocks. So if I tack these back together, then I've only got to drill and ream 1 hole at 40mm at 140mm centres. Then I can use that to go on there, with another bar through to locate that in the right swing. So I'll put that through there, so line that up, tack them back together, and then we'll drill a hole through it. Right, so I think I've been overthinking this a little bit. I don't need to worry about that offset. If I just put the bars on centre with each other, and then all I've got to worry about is moving from there 140mm out when I machine that one through. So I've cut a bit of box section the same length as them, and then another bit for it to sit on. So if I tack that on, and then I maybe just try the crank in it again, I should be right at that. Yeah, just mean the crank is clocked around at a different angle to what I had it at to start with. As long as that 140 is right from there to there, which it is, that's 140mm. So surely we can't be wrong. Then I've got my measurements from that end to there to make sure that's going to be sort of in the middle of the journal. Then it doesn't matter too much that they're not true, because like I say, when I machine it out, they're 40mm and that needs to be 55. That needs to be 55 and that needs to be 60. So there's plenty of tolerance if everything's not quite lined up when it comes to line barring them through. So yeah, we're good at that. It sits in how it's supposed to do. Well, not yet, but it will do. So now that that's lower as well, it's clocked that round a bit more, so I have space now. I can put an extra brace across from one side to the other, and then takes any flex out of the box section. Whether I might put some braces in here as well to brace this bit. I just don't want any flex in it at all, because you know how much weld pulls, and when I weld that journal in, I don't want the weld to pull sort of the jig out of shape. But yeah, I'll get that welded round, weld this extra bit of box section in as a brace, and then see what else we need. Right, so that is that all welded up. So I can't decide whether to put any more braces in here or not. Probably better with some. So yeah, it just needs boring through now. So you might have noticed these boxes in the background. So I bought an S-Power line boring setup. So the first job I'm going to do with that is to bore that jig through. Now it came with a 50mm bar, and I also got a 35mm bar. So I'm going to use a 35mm bar to bore it through. That's why I bored them through at 40mm, if you're wondering. But yeah, I'll leave that till part 2. So pretty excited to have a go with it. I'm quite impressed with how well it's made. There's another shorter bar in there, and then bearings and alignment cones. Anyway, I'll show you that more next time. And that's the other crank that's snapped. So they're both snapped in exactly the same place. Both on the same side, same place. So yeah, I think we'll leave it there for part 1. I've just had an email through to say that the journals have been hardened and tempered, so they're ready to send back. Well, it's another bank holiday weekend, so that's another 3 days I've got to wait. Yeah, hope you enjoyed part 1. Stick around for part 2. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.